It gives me great pleasure to introduce Rob to the podcast today. He is the front man from Don Broco. Welcome, Rob.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely my pleasure. I'm a fan of your band, so this is great. This is awesome. I've been looking forward to this. So it's
Oh,
been
wicked.
good. But yeah, welcome to the show, man. How are things today?
Yeah, good. I've had, it's been a bit of a slow day. I was knackered. Got in super late last night. We shot a new video yesterday. It was meant to be 2 days ago, and just felt like everything that could go wrong went wrong. It wasn't actually. It probably felt like that, even though it wasn't too bad. We were shooting this very ambitious, cinematic looking piece in North Wales in Snowdonia,
Yeah.
and I was down there earlier to shoot a few scenes. The plan is I've got this. We're trying to make this kind of epic, grand feeling, almost like sci-fi epic, I guess.
Okay.
And the mountains and the valleys, they're just like so beautiful. The idea was I've got this astronaut's outfit that I'm kind of gonna do things, walk about in and do various stuff. And yeah, it didn't turn up. Like, we had everything ready to go. Got there the night before, sort of, up at like 5:30 in the morning to sort of seize the day and try and cram a lot of filming in, as well as getting all the boys in later. And yeah, we turned up and got all the camera gear set up, and they're like, okay, put on the costume. And we're like, where is it? It's not here. And somehow it had just been misplaced in the pickup spot in London. So we were just like, yeah, a bit like, oh shit, what do we do now? Luckily, we got it sent to Tom, who was coming in later from for the band performance, but he wasn't turning up till 3-4 o'clock. The drive to North Wales is like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
So we were just sort of twiddling our thumbs until the rest of the boys got there. They got there, we shot like one thing and then ran out of time. But luckily, like two of the camera crew were available to stick around,
Yeah.
and do the rest of it yesterday. So we sort of got up super early again, got there, and then it just, like, the heavens just opened and it like rained the entire day. And it was just one of those things. It was like, oh, the luck is just so bad, and we're trying to take shelter and find trees to hide under and little caves and not get the camera stuff soaked. And it was a really mad day. But the sun broke through a few times, and I'm hoping it's going to look amazing, because it's like, sometimes that, even though it feels horrible at the time, like those sort of moody skies and real kind of, it was literal thunder and lightning, like the whole day, in and out. It was like the most bipolar weather. Someone I saw in the news got electrocuted, like in the mountain range next to us, and I was wandering around with this metal space suit on, metal space helmet. So it's probably, in hindsight, shouldn't have been doing that. So yeah, it was like, mental knackering day, just hiking pretty much in a full spacesuit. So this morning I was like, you're just like in pieces. And you're like, why do I feel so bad? That's why, because I was, running around like an idiot for 2 days. But no, really excited for that video. Hopefully that'll be ready really soon. So can't wait to see that. It felt good. The shots we did get hopefully look insane. So
Excellent.
Fingers crossed it'll all be worth it.
Yeah, no, I mean, just judging by your recent videos as well, I've obviously your latest one, Gum Shield, which we'll talk about in a moment, but the one before that, the Manchester Super Red #1 fan, that was, I mean, the sort of like Star Trek style video on that front, and that, I mean, it looked amazing. It looked like a lot of fun to do as well.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of bands that take time with their like videos. Like, you can have general performance videos, which are fine, but you've got to put something a little bit extra in there to make it. We don't have the TV channels that we used to, so we don't have Scuzz, Kerrang TV, MTV, for instance, is mainly reality TV on there.
Yeah.
And you know, so YouTube and stuff like that has taken that sort of precedent with those,
Yeah.
likes of Twitch and TikTok and things like that as well, being more visual thing. And is has that always been a sort of like a thing for you guys, like having, like, wanting to put that, obviously you've got your music side of it, but having that extra level of production in the videos, has that always been something that you've always kind of aspired to do?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think, yeah, just from, growing up, I guess in an era where I did watch Kerrang and Scuzz and MTV, and seeing all these, incredible creative videos, that I loved. And a lot of the time, that was how you sometimes discover new music. You would see very much, a video popping up on TV, of a band you hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
And that would be your first impression, where, you're getting obviously the visuals and the sonics all in one go. And it obviously, a great video can really enrich the musical experience as well. So, when that does work and connects, it's just, I think it's amazing. So we've always aspired to, try and achieve the best we can with each video, not always succeeding, because it's one of the, it's one of those, the parts of being in a band that is unfortunately, like, outside our control. It's it's really funny sometimes. You have this idea in your head of how you think a video is going to look.
Yeah.
We've either developed the concept ourselves, or we've done it in collaboration with directors, or sometimes, you get pitched ideas, where, you put out a few sort of, I guess, a feel and a few ideas, and you get something back. You build up this picture in your head of how it's going to look, and it then comes back and it looks nothing like how you imagined. And yeah, like, a few times we've been really gutted about them. So you spend so long on the music, and then for the visuals not to be right, that's something that I probably take way too hard. I get really disappointed. So we always do make the effort, like, when we do have control over it, which is, obviously at the, embryonic stage of developing and kind of signing off on ideas, we put a lot of care and thought into that to, get something that we love, and hopefully something people haven't seen before, or something that really feels like honest with the music. Not all videos can be like, running around a spaceship cloning David Beckham. It doesn't.
Yeah.
That concept definitely doesn't work for everything. You need like, an energy to pull that off. So it's kind of finding something that feels like, I guess, different, original,
Yeah.
and hopefully something that people are going to see and, show their mates and be like, that was sick, because that's what music videos are, really. They're a promotional tool to get people to listen to the music. That's the idea eventually. So yeah, Manchester Super Reds in particular, that's probably one of the nuttiest ideas, like, we've ever had, when we thought, right, how are we going to combine, Star Trek, football, this kind of, as soon as we kind of wrote the verse of that song, I just had in my idea that kind of fisheye shot of, that we use in the verses, which is kind of straight ripped off of Beastie Boys' Intergalactic, which is one of my favorite music videos, of all time. So kind of doing that, but in a different way. We had all these ideas, and it was like, how are we going to mash these together and fit that in 3.5 minutes, or however long the song is. But I like to think we did achieve that eventually.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a fantastic video. I've really enjoyed watching it. I like to have videos on, like, in the house, kind of thing, like have a rotating, like, playlist of YouTube videos and stuff, and it's on there, along with your new one as well, Gum Shield. Just added that to it, and what I'm loving about this one is the build up you had to this, and the sort of the behind the scenes thing you just released as well.
Yeah.
Just sort of showing, like, the in between, the sort of like promos you did, for taking on
Dave Allen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was great. I just, like, obviously, get you kind of did this all in one afternoon, as it turned out.
Yeah, it was a
Watching
long
that,
afternoon.
yeah, I was going to say it looked like a long afternoon. I've done a little bit of boxing training in my life, and it's very difficult. It's a lot harder than it looks. And
It is tiring, isn't it? It's
yeah,
like it's really a full body like workout, and
I think it's just
yeah,
punching and fists and arms, and that's it. But it's not. It's like
no,
your whole, the whole thing. Obviously, well, yeah, your whole body, and because it's all about the stance, it's all about balance. So you're thinking of all these things, trying to stay up, trying to stay on your legs, trying to breathe properly as well.
the breathing's the hardest bit, isn't it? I found anyway. It was yeah, and obviously that's such a crucial part to boxing is yeah, being in control of that. Otherwise, you get like 3 times as tired
Yeah,
as quickly because you're putting all the energy into like breathing. Yeah, it was really interesting, kind of having that crash course in it, because I haven't done any boxing before, and it was I was definitely a little bit nervous going in and thinking I wish I'd kind of had more time to actually build up to this because I've got to try and convince people with very limited experience. But like while I was doing it, I was like, this is sick. Like I'm really enjoying it at the same time. And I definitely, yeah, basically as soon as this album's done, I'm going to try and actually, for real, actually try and do a bit more boxing because
cool.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I guess it's very rewarding compared to like just going for a run for me or just going to the gym. It's one of these sports and exercises that like you even within for me even within the 2 days that I did because I did some training with a mate in the park where we kind of he's a kickboxer actually, so it's a little bit different, but there's still the fundamentals are there
Yeah,
and yeah, the sort of I guess the things you learn along the way that keeps it interesting, and you're learning a new skill while you're exercising, and
yeah,
so it's like it's mental, it's a mental kind of workout too, trying to figure it all out and coordinate your body to do the things you're trying to make
yeah.
it do.
And when you get hit
Um,
as well, it just shakes that around.
mm,
Got hit a few times. I saw I was watching the sparring that you had.
yeah,
I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like, was he your brother's, the manager's brother or something, younger brother?
yeah, Ewan, yeah, he's our manager's little brother, yeah,
I saw him take a few pot shots as he dropped your guard and stuff.
yeah,
No, that shakes your head. Like initially, that just shakes your head. You're like, oh my, what, where am I suddenly? And
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
It's a good feeling.
it's a weird,
Hurts, but it's good as well at the same
yeah,
time.
it's a weird addictive feeling. I guess that's
Mm,
where they got Fight Club from. But it's just,
yeah.
but yeah, no, I really enjoyed that part. Like, obviously, it shows you put like the work into it because a lot of people can get dropped into videos. Um, like you say, with bands, just drop in, perform, jump out. And there's an element there you put in. You had obviously a special guest in the video, in the shape of Dave Allen, White Rhino, I think his
The
nickname is.
White Rhino, yeah, that's his boxing name.
Don't get that wrong. So, but
Yeah, he'll sort you out.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, the video itself, it's a total trip. Like, it is obviously, I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Anyone who's listening or watching this, go watch it. It's on YouTube now, Sharp Tone Records, etc. Um, but yeah, no, I mean it's a total like you start off like get into the ring and whatnot and all that kind of stuff, and then he just clocks you one, and it takes you into this kind of like dazed situation, psychedelic type trip, if you
Yeah,
will,
yeah,
where you kind of end up taking on yourself. That's right, isn't it?
yeah.
A version of yourself.
Pretty.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely. I love it because it's just got this story element, and that's what a lot of music videos miss. I think, like you say, it's a promotional tool, but it's also something that can live on. Like
Mm.
if we go back to that sort of Kerrang era, I remember when like it was constantly say like Tenacious D. It was either Wonder Boy or Tribute, and those videos are kind of like
Oh, they made some incredible videos. Yeah,
exactly. But those videos lived on every time. Like they took them off deliberately to give other videos a chance, and then put them back on, and it would shoot straight back to the top of the request chart because that's what
yeah,
you see. And that's kind of it's a feeling that's something that people need to. I don't know, something I feel that would help the music industry again would be the video side of it, the visual aspect, because everyone's
Yeah.
got high definition 4K, you know, and it's so, and it's a lot more affordable to make these videos. I mean, back when I was younger, I made couple of music videos with my band, and one of them I actually like directed, and the budget on that was literally nothing.
Yeah.
We made a donation to a charity to use the location, and we got some makeup artists off, I think it was Mandy.com, like the sort of film and art thing. We got a couple of, like, you know, artists that we paid, like makeup artists we paid, but not very much because they wanted to learn, but they also wanted
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that. And you know, we weren't a rich band. It's not it was doing that, and we spent like a couple of days filming,
Yeah.
and and we just did that, and then I was like, kind of thing. We got a couple of mates with cameras, and just then we just, it took a while to edit together, just purely on the basis that the technology was
Yeah.
not there. But like now I look at it, and I work in the tech field, and the company that I work for, they develop a lot of the sort of like film and music programs and things like that, and just sort of seeing the ease of doing certain things now, you know, like background effects, or you know, like dropping green screen, which is an old thing, but it's taken on a whole new light.
Yeah.
And obviously you got the augmented reality stuff as well, where you can pop like 3D objects into a situation.
Yeah.
But it's just so easy to do because it's built into these, like what we're using right now, you know, these cameras, or phones. Actually, the phones can do this as well.
Phones can do crazy things these days, can't they?
Can
You can, I mean, you know, you can see some of the well, I don't know how many people do them, but you know, a lot of the iPhone promotion I saw for a while was like showing you like edited, the most incredible little mini movies that they've edited together all on an iPhone. Like you don't even need a laptop to go onto them. So it's more about like having the, you know, I guess having the will to like learn. You know, obviously it's still, you still got to put the, you still got to have the skill and put the effort in to learn how to do it. But it is all possible. You know, it's all very you know, it's within anyone's grasp really. It's just having like, you know, giving yourself the kick up the arse if you're a band, or you know, or if you're not a band and you're doing it just for fun. It's like actually like the tools are there at your disposal. You've just got to make it happen, because you know, almost like the technology has just opened it up to kind of everyone now. You don't have to be some, you know, huge act signed to a major label, you know, to be able to do this. You can, you know, just get your mate round, pull in a few favors, and make something really special.
Yeah, that's all it takes really, and it's just like, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, a lot of bands during lockdown, a lot of DJs, a lot of, you know, performers figured that out, which was great. I mean, I'm sure you guys had. I'm trying not to ask about lockdowns at the moment because a lot of people have got that like fatigue from it. But you know,
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of bands adapting to the situation. I mean, myself as a DJ, I did live streams, stuff like that, to sort of, you know, just obviously keep my foot in, but also entertain and things like that. This podcast, in fact, I've done loads over this past year and a half. But yeah, just like having the tech in your phone, it's like the cameras are good enough, like even on like a couple of generations back of phones. So
Yeah. Yeah.
phone to do this, and the program, like for the iPhones, for instance, the iMovie side of things, it's free. It comes with the device.
Yeah.
On that, and you've got things like clips. You've also got obviously your TikTok apps, your Instagram apps, and all that kind of stuff to throw in some weird edits and stuff here and there, and even promotion wise, it's there for you.
Yeah. Totally.
In your device, and it's just crazy how that works. And I know there was like a film, an entire film recorded just on iPhones. I think an episode of Modern Family was done on iPads. You know,
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
they like did like home recording type stuff with it and all that. And,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that, just realizing that text there, and you know, I would say it's not easy. It's easier to get access to that, and you, like you said, you still have to learn. But it's, you know, it's always useful learning a new skill, you know, even if you only use it for one thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still from yesterday, you know, seeing some of the shots we were getting. And this is still obviously, this isn't available to everyone. You still have to buy a drone to get drone shots.
Yeah.
But honestly, I couldn't believe some of these shots we were getting, just because, you can buy cheaper drones now, like secondhand, third-hand drones.
Yeah.
And the way the almost like the value added to having just like something else that's just a little bit like different or out of the ordinary, like just looks so expensive. And it's actually not, to get these things.
Yeah.
Before, it would be like, oh my god, they must have got a helicopter to fly over this thing, and it's like, no, you just get a little drone up and do it. And if you can rent one or pull in a favor from a mate or do that sort of thing, that's just one example of the technology out there to create like amazing stories and tell, explain a narrative and create sick visuals. So I definitely think, like, when it comes to the music, that is the most important thing. But for the whole, you want to create an artistic stamp on your music and your art.
Yeah.
And videos are just another way of getting that across to people. So no, I hope that we like continue to keep making them, even as people probably move towards slightly more easily digestible content, as people call it these days, whether it's like 15-second attention span, which has now gone down to 10-second attention span, or 8 seconds, or however it is. But I still think people do want that slightly longer form storytelling, and if people are going to listen to a 3-minute song, I'm sure they'll watch a 3-minute video. I hope so, anyway, because we put a lot of effort into them.
So
no, it's all right. Thanks.
But yeah, we're going to talk about your album. I say you got an album due out on August 13th. Is that right, on Sharp Tone?
Is that right? Is it September 13th, maybe?
September 13th.
Is it August 13th? Wait, I'm getting confused now.
Where have I got written down?
Let me have a look at my phone.
August written down on my paper here. That might just be
September 17th. I was like, August something's coming out, I believe.
So let's try that again.
No, September 17th. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's sort that out. Keep that off there. Bloody hell. All right, cool. So yeah, you got a new album coming out September 17th.
Yes, yeah.
Sharp Tone Records. It's called Amazing Things. Yeah, give us a little bit about it, because obviously we've had the 2 songs from it so far. I believe they're the first 2 tracks, right? They're positioned on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you divulge? Obviously, we've been talking about a video you've been shooting. Can you divulge which track that's going to be? Or
yeah, I don't think we're keeping it a secret, unless, well, if we are, then here's the exclusive. We've got it's a song called One True Prince, which is for us, like, I guess it kind of in a way feels like the title track from the record, because it's that song that we actually got stole the lyric Amazing Things from, that became the album name.
Okay.
And it felt like it really kind of summed up a lot of the feelings and kind of thoughts on the album. Whenever I write lyrics, I don't usually decide at the start of an album, right, this is what I'm going to write about this time. It's more just what I'm thinking at the time, the sort of various things that might have happened to me in that year, or feelings that I'm dealing with at that current moment in my life. But I found, like, after I'd written a few tracks on the record, potentially a reflection of a tough year in lockdown, potentially a reflection of having a lot more time to kind of think about things other than myself, like think about the world and kind of maybe slightly bigger issues that were kind of almost like, I guess, driving a lot of the debate, whether it was like in the news or amongst friends. Felt like last year there were some huge shifts of thought in regards to a lot of like big world issues, like obviously with COVID, that kind of shook up how everyone lived, and everyone's mental health was kind of really I think for the first time given the importance that it kind of needs. You know, it's spoken about, but everyone was like, wow, this, you know, we do need to talk about this, because it highlights how important it is when you don't have these other like distractions going on. You know, day to day life isn't there to sort of, yeah, I guess sometimes like it's a distraction, but it also kind of keeps you going. Sometimes you can put aside things you're dealing with because you're busy, but when you're not busy, you've got to kind of confront them head on. And then, you know, within that, there was just it felt like, wow, we've not only got this, what they're battling right now, we've got like some huge, you know, political, almost ideologies. It felt like it was this, you know, being in the UK, you can't not help still see what was going on in the States, you know, with the presidential election, Black Lives Matter, obviously, across the entire world. And then we also had, you know, the climate crisis, throw that in there as well. And like, it just felt like, wow, like what are we living through right now? Like so many things seemed to be happening. And I wouldn't say I'm a massive political person. You know, I think I get quite somewhat overwhelmed and almost like, you know, depressed if I'm reading the news too much. So you know, just to protect my own mental health, I kind of try to limit that, because I can get addicted to trying to read every news article, and you know, and it just becomes too much. And I think with all that combined, you know, One True Prince became a song that kind of epitomized coping mechanisms that I found just useful within the year, within my life. Things, you know, anything you could tell yourself that could get you through that day or that week. And you know, there's sometimes very different ways of approaching things. You know, I think there's different you know, different tools for different jobs. And you know, amazing things. The song One True Prince almost had like a lot of them combined. It was, you know, there aren't a million lyrics to fit in there. It's quite kind of sparse lyrically, but it was more like a contradiction of almost contradictory tools that I use. Like one massive one is when I'm feeling super overwhelmed by everything, I'm just trying to remind myself that we are like, you know, I'm one person in, you know, a world of billions that is on this planet spinning around a sun that is dying in a constantly, you know, expanding universe. And when you look at things from just a grand scale, you think, wow, like the fact that I, like, you know, I don't know, was you know, handed in something late, and I'm getting a bollocking from you know, our manager or whatever, you know, like it's like, well, do I really need to care about this? You know, it's like, put things in perspective, and don't worry about things, because you are just a tiny part of a huge you know, massive existence. So that was one thing, but at the same time, something that really kept, you know, me going was, despite all that, like those small wins and those small things that you do that, you know, that make you feel good, that for me, it was writing this album. You know, like having such a kind of shitty year, but coming out at the end of it was something that I was super proud of. And you know, despite all the hardships we face, we still are, you know, capable of greatness, and you know, doing things that you know, make you happy and make other people happy. And for me, it was, you know, writing music and this album. So it was really like, you know, trying to find the positives in a kind of, you know, in dark places, and using those to get you through life. So, you know, a lot of the songs that aren't as positive as well, I still see as positive, because, you know, they might be dealing with something that's not fun, where there isn't like an obvious light at the end of the tunnel. But just getting that down on record makes me feel better, that I've kind of, you know, shared my feelings. And you know, if they help other people, or even if people aren't listening to the lyrics, but they're just vibing off the music and they're like, this tune's a banger. That's something that, you know, you've created out of a dark place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really for me what I wanted to get across with the album name, like Amazing Things. It's like we are capable of amazing things, even, you know, however insignificant we even are, and we are in this world. However rubbish things are, you know, there's still you know, that positive thing to hold on to, basically.
No, cool. I mean, I look forward to hearing it. Obviously, once it is out, I'll have it on my on the streaming service of choice. Um, at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I mean, I love the fact that you've kind of brought into that, like, or brought in the mental health aspect into the music, because it's something that I talk about a lot on this show. Just from my own experiences and others that I've spoken to as well. And this year has been obviously tough for everyone, and everyone's taking it differently. And you know, we're sort of venturing out now, coming out of our caves, if you will, and you know, some of us aren't quite all there at the moment, or as we
Mm,
were. So you know,
yeah, totally.
you know, anything you obviously tackle in your lyrics, stuff like that, and if people can relate and listen to and be helped by it, that's what I'm trying to do with like the club night that I'm doing, is just sort of, you know, making it comfortable for people to come out. Obviously, we're doing the testing stuff and all that kind of stuff on the door, making sure everyone's got that, but we're also doing a glow band thing, so like a traffic light night, if you will. So taking that aspect, but
Yeah.
like, so if someone's got a red band, it's like I'm still not quite comfortable. Just leave me kind of, you know,
Yeah.
high five. Got the amber where people aren't quite sure, but they might do. Give them a few drinks. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
green is like, yeah, cool, do whatever, high five, hug, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's
We're
really
doing that just to
interesting.
help,
Yeah.
like, on the mental side of things, just like, you know, and obviously with shows going back as well. For you guys, you've got a tour coming up to sort of segue nicely into that. And obviously that's a big thing, because we've had a couple of pilots, like Download Pilot, for instance, and that seemed to go quite well.
Yeah.
Like, coming out of
I
it,
mean,
people were having a good time.
I've heard that went, yeah, really well. I mean, people who were there felt, obviously it was such this release and this
Yeah,
like weird taste of normality. And, you know, in theory, well, I haven't heard any bad news, so
no,
I'm guessing it all went well, and it was COVID safe. Like, it didn't spread the disease any further, and, you know, it kind of proves that, you know, responsible, you know, going in somewhere, and especially outside festivals, are a safe place to be, which is huge weight off people's minds, especially as we're entering, you know, festival season.
yeah,
You know, I think they started kind of back last week, really, like,
yeah,
you know, the normal non-pilot one. So that's, you know, that's great news for everyone, I think. But as you said, it's not just the physical, you know, you know, fear of, oh well, I don't want to get ill. It's like, I guess it's like a social anxiety coming back, because we're not used to
exactly
talking
it.
to
Yeah,
people. We're not used to being around lots of people anymore, and a year's a long time to not talk to, you know, be in a room of people and
yeah,
dealing with that. And I know, you know, a lot of people have felt that. And, you know, I've felt that myself. Like, when I've been landed in a situation, I'm like, how do you even talk to people? Like, you like, you know, in real life, there's, you know, I think, you know, it's great. We've been, you know, more communicative than ever online.
yeah,
Um, but there's obviously, within that, there's like a safety net of you're behind a screen, which is great in some ways. But when you're pushed into that real life situation, it can be super overwhelming, and everyone's coming back into that at their own pace.
yeah,
So I think it's important for everyone to really understand that, and then kind of do what they feel comfortable with, and yeah, readjust at their own speed, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And obviously with you guys sort of going back into doing live shows, you know, stepping back on that stage, I mean, how are you feeling about this? How is, you know, how are the band feeling about this? Because you got, like, obviously you got a festival coming up with Slam Dunk, which you guys are headlining, and you've got a couple of runner dates, warm up dates before that as well.
Mm.
Also announced your own tour as well, haven't you? Is that what's happening in August? think that's what's
Yeah, that's no, that the oh no, the shows, yeah, shows are happening in August as like a slam dunk warm-up shows, August, September. And then our like our full headline tour is October, November, I think. Yeah, after slam dunk.
So
Um,
how you feeling sort of like broaching that sort of side of things? Because I'm obviously, you know, been out the sort of game, if you will, for 18 months.
mm,
You know, it's kind of like for some guys I've spoken to, it's like starting again almost, but with a repertoire that people know.
yeah.
um,
Um, so I think the real, I mean, it's an interesting question because I think the almost like the mental side of it for us has been through pure just craziness on a creative aspect because we're making videos, we're planning, we're planning so much. We're like, we've never been this busy. We basically squeezed like what would be a normal album campaign of like 6 or 7 months or something into like 3 months, 2 or 3 months. And it's we're just crazy rushed off our feet, really sorting it all out. We kind of forgot how much it takes to put a record out.
yeah.
Plus plus we're probably going way too over the top, all the stuff I was doing with like the gum shield build up and it did take a lot of planning when, even though if it was like, a couple of days filming, realistically the planning side of it, the editing, it's time consuming. And suddenly we were like, we need to learn how to play our instruments again. Like we've got shows coming up and we haven't played a gig in like 2 years. So I think the thing that we're kind of most kind of nervous about is like we don't want to suck. We want to be we've spent years like honing our live show, becoming getting so much better. Like we were terrible when we first started as a band, like anyone is. Like I doubt any bands are like top of their game. It takes practice and experience and just playing hundreds of shows to get to that. But by the end of 2 years ago when we played our last show, we were feeling the best we'd ever felt as a kind of slick live act. When it comes to singing, it can get really disheartening when you lose your voice and you get out of practice. For me, like that's one of the things that I struggle with the most, like on the road, is not being able to deliver what the standards that I set for myself, that we set. And you get a cold, you get a sore throat, you push your voice too hard, and it's always like a balancing act for me of getting that right and warming into that. And it's not something I like have written down or know what I'm doing. It's like you just kind of feel for it and get used to it. And years of not singing, I'm definitely thinking, oh man, I hope I can like sing again, because it's also very different singing in practice to actually performing on stage.
Yes.
So last few weeks we've been like learning the new songs, getting back together, getting in the practice room. A lot of these songs as well on this record we've never played before being in the studio, because we wrote so much of it on the computer and sending ideas across. So the first time like we ever played, or some of the songs like I ever had sung them, was literally in the studio. So yeah, like teaching yourself how to play those songs and then like reteaching and relearning our old songs, I think is going to be so intense up until these shows. I don't think we're even going to have a minute to get like nervous or like scared about the actual the actual playing of them, because we're so caught up in like trying to learn them again. And then obviously with the shows that comes the live show. So we're planning some crazy production. We want to put on a show. It's not just it's not just like playing on a stage. It's like we want to give people an experience. So it's pressure in the sense of all the stuff that comes with those big festivals and shows anyway, combined with we've never done it before. So I think we'll be so intense and so like focused on doing that. Hopefully we won't even have a chance to get worried about it.
Good. Sounds Yeah, cool. Well, I've got a couple of questions left for you, man. I'll let you get on with the rest of your evening. If that's all right. So
Yeah, all
sort of
good.
my general sort of like, wrap up questions, if you will. But what I want to find out, if I may, is your three most pivotal albums in your life. So not necessarily like best albums, but the ones that kind of like got you into certain things or made you want to be a singer, for instance, or anything like that. If you could like obviously name three of those.
Yeah. Wow, there's definitely more than three, but like, yeah, I guess. Wow, depends if you're like, yeah, going through. I mean, I think probably one of the first like rock records that I like, I guess I bought out of choice, that wasn't like my dad's record passing down to me, where before I really kind of had decided what I really liked, because I just bought all sorts of music. I wasn't, when you're that little bit younger, you kind of haven't found your tribe, if you will. Oh, you're kind of, was probably Californication by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Because I was at that age where they were like obviously like a massive band already, but like that album was so, I guess, so mainstream. It was like, a launch into everyone knowing about them, even someone who wasn't aware of them before.
Yeah.
But like just opening my eyes to just this sick, like, groovy, exciting, just banger after banger of a record. It was like so many good songs. At the time I was kind of listening to more like rap music, like just really like, I think like most kids just loved Eminem and wanted to be Eminem. And like everything that Eminem was on, like, Dr. Dre, like 2001, and to be fair, like anything that Dre was involved in, Snoop Dogg, D12,
Yeah.
I was probably more listening to more rock, rap music. And then Chili Peppers, I guess, like brought me into this kind of new world where I was listening to it as much. And yeah, I'd say that was definitely influenced my kind of love of I guess, yeah, more kind of, yeah, like funk led stuff as well, where it didn't have to be like super heavy, but still just sick. So yeah, definitely them. Probably wow, there's so many to choose from. I think Toxicity by System of a Down would be a huge record for me,
Yeah.
that just completely, like, again, blew all my expectations of what a band sounded like out the window. I was just obsessed with that album. Like, again, the creativity involved, the combination of styles, like the dual vocals, the craziness of the lyrics, the just like the riffs. Like, for me, it really kind of, I couldn't, like, there was no one like better than them. Just like how mad and mental they were, and how crazy they were, and how they kind of did whatever they wanted. Within the space of an album as well. I think that's kind of something that's really influenced Don Broco. Is like, you can have a super emotional feeling song, and say something that you feel is like super important, and kind of, you can have the scope to get super deep, but then you can also like flip it on another track and just go crazy and just have fun with it, and not worry about pandering to the genre or what's expected of you. And so yeah, I think that really kind of influenced like me as a musician, just being able to have that freedom. So yeah, so definitely them. And then probably I'd say Black and Sky by Biffy Clyro,
Okay, cool.
because I love Biffy Clyro. They're one of my, my favorite bands of all time. And being kind of bombarded with so much American music, as you do, it's a huge, obviously American rock bands, like, are everywhere and they're great. But having like a band that sounded not like an American band, like a Scottish band who sounded Scottish, and who I could see, just down the road play to like 50, 100 people at the time.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind. Like, I remember getting there. I remember I think it was, I'm sure it wasn't Just Boy. It must have been another track from that record, was like, the free song you get on a CD with your Kerrang. It was like, it was one of those, discovering them, going to like looking where I could go see them, and seeing that I could actually see them, and like getting to see them tour, like all those tours they did on those first 3 records, to be fair. Like, I could actually go and get tickets and not have to go to London to see them. So they felt really real, and they felt like, I guess, as they constantly got bigger as well, they were like a massive inspiration, in the sense that, like, wow, this band, you've like put the work in, and toured and changed the sound throughout their records again, and now have achieved, like, this level of success that they have through just perseverance, hard work, and being an amazing band. Like, that was super inspirational. To for us as a band to be like, sick, it can be achieved. So yeah, musically and through their example, that, and how they conduct themselves just as guys as well, they're very, very important artists for me and for the rest of the guys too.
Yeah, no, they're definitely a band that, I mean, same as I saw them tiny venues, like back many moons ago.
Yeah.
And just watching them grow the way they have, from being at that sort of like tiny, 100, 200 capacity venue, not selling it out either, but just the work they put in, watching them go up and up and up, and now I think they've just replaced Queens of the Stone Age on Reading, and they're headlining Download and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like, wow, you watch Scope, and a band that stick at it is they're getting their sort of rewards for it as well, and they're making as well is fantastic. It's not that their music is like hindered in any way. They've just, like you say, they change on each album or through the album, and it's just great to watch. See that evolution, if you will. Of a band to now being, festival headliner, which is, where a lot of bands want to be. They want to,
that's
the live show, isn't it? It's the big, used to be sell out Wembley, now it's just festival headliners, because there's so many. There are a lot of festivals, but some of them are just,
I think, have they headlined Reading twice now? I think
so. Yeah.
Already, yeah. I think they've headlined. I mean, it's definitely. I saw them when they did the actually, which I think it's twice, either once or twice. But yeah, I've seen I've seen them, do the full production there, and it's like, it is amazing, where you're like, wow, like this band I saw to play to not too many people, but I still loved it anyway. And now you're seeing, thousands and thousands and thousands of people all sing along. It's like, it just fills your heart with like, oh wow, like this is like, you feel so good for them, and you feel like it gives you this, like, I guess you feel good for yourself as well, that you backed them. You're like, yes, it's like this whole feeling of everyone's in this together, and everyone wants the best for this band, and we've been on that journey. So it's always really nice to see.
It's that goosebump moment you get when you're watching them as well. It's just like, oh my god, you're so proud of them, because it's like, you've watched them, you've kind of helped them in your own way to grow point by recommending them to friends and all that kind of stuff. And just watching, I got the with Skin Dread, for instance. Like, I used to play like gigs with them back in when I was in a band, like we played like the Underworld to like 20 people in London and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And you know, just watching that, and then seeing videos of them at some Polish festival in front of 100 and something thousand people swinging their t-shirts in the air and stuff. And you just,
yeah,
yes, you know,
yeah. That's it.
it's absolute madness, but it's just like that moment of like, you know, well done, you stuck with it, and
Yeah,
this is your payoff, you know. So
yeah.
awesome, cool. Well, last question, man. What are your hobbies away from Don Bronco? So when you're not doing, sorry, Don Broco, said the name.
That's right.
I,
Everyone says that eventually.
damn it,
It's
I tried
a
not
very
to. I've got it written here.
very
Don't say Bronco.
it's
Um,
the secret N.
yeah, it's that's silence. Well, it's not even silent. Secret.
Yeah,
Um,
I know.
yeah. What are your hobbies away from Don Broco? What do you do to kind of like, you know, unwind, or you know, something that's yours?
um, I mean, it was it was a lot of fitness, to be fair. When I was trying to get to grips with this gum shield stunt. It was it was like one of those things where I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to after a year of lockdown and a lot of takeaways. um I've probably got quite a short amount of time now to to get in the best shape I can, because I'm probably gonna have to have my top off a few times. So that gave me the kick up the arse to actually, like, you know, get fit again.
Yeah,
Which I've always been into, like, fitness, and, you know, like, in a healthy way, because
yeah,
I love eating too. So for me, it's like, you know, anything anything to justify like extra portions, or, you know, treating yourself to that, you know, that chocolate cheesecake or whatever. You
yeah.
know, I feel it's a good thing. So, you know, that is something that, you know, I try to keep going. But I mean, apart from that, nothing crazy. I mean, I, like many people, you know, I think there's so much good TV out there now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like watching TV counts as a hobby. But
Possible.
but but that was something I just loved over lockdown, that I never really got a chance to do as much, you know, that I have done,
Yeah,
because when we're on tour, it's just so crazy and so hectic. You're so exhausted all the time. Um, so yeah, like, yeah, very basic, but like just binge watching wicked series all the time. And for me, I think, you know, when you're kind of thinking and breathing music all day,
yeah,
um, it's, you know, when I like to switch off and, you know, kind of just be engrossed in someone else's story, and something that necessarily isn't you know, music based. So, you know, I'm a huge kind of, you know, film buff, and just, you know, love, just, I could watch movies all day. Like, I was gutted when the cinemas closed, because you know, I could just go to a cinema and watch like 4 movies back to back.
yeah.
And a lot of people would think that's mental and also very lazy, but I love it. um you know, I love long haul flights to you know, when we have to go on tour, and it's like, oh, you got to be on a flight for, like, you know, 14 hours, whatever, to the States. I'm like, sick, how many movies can I watch in that in that amount of time? So yeah, like, doing that, and obviously you know, long form TV, where there's some really good series out there. You know, I think ever since, obviously, Breaking Bad just kind of upped the ante so hard. I wouldn't say anything's quite got to that level yet for me, where um I've been so invested in, like, the slow build.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, like, yeah, probably that's probably what everyone's like. That's not a hobby. How's that a
I would
thing?
say it is. I think it's become a hobby now,
It's like,
especially with everything you can, all the platforms you can get stuff on, and everyone who's making their own sort of content. So like Amazon, Netflix, all that kind of lot.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm a big like cinema fan. I love going to the cinema. I love the experience of the cinema.
mm,
I love the films that are sort of made for that experience.
totally, yeah,
You know, there's a lot of films out there. We get the big sort of like landscape type, you know, Lord of the Rings, for instance. You know, just
mm,
scenic things. And you got the action films. Obviously, you know, you can go in there and you get all the big booms and everything like that.
Yeah,
And everything.
it's great, isn't it?
And the way they were like sort of like giving like cinema an overhaul of such, like giving it like obviously, you know, making it more comfortable for one. But you know, I was living in the States for a bit, and they had one of those 4D cinemas where you get like when it snows in the theater. When it's like
Wow, I haven't been to one of them yet.
and
That's awesome.
that was something they were kind of like, you know, sort of building on, and obviously it cost a bit more to do it, but it added to the experience. There was only a few films that would really benefit from it at the time,
Yeah,
but the way
yeah.
things go now, and obviously, you know, hopefully with cinema will come back and be as popular or be even more popular than it was, um, or make it a bit more
I hope so. Yeah.
because it was like, you know, it used to be like 10 quid a film, but now they brought it down to like 3-4 quid, I think it is. So
Yeah.
which I think will help, and then they'll just charge you extra for the popcorn. So
Yeah. Well, that's fine because you can, yeah, you can go Tesco's whatever and get your own and bring it,
yeah,
sneak it in under your jumper or whatever. That's
yeah,
always
that's why I
that's
still
the way.
that's why I still wear cargo trousers. You see, because you got
Yes,
the
or the pockets. Yeah, get
pockets.
those, smuggle those snacks in for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, exactly.
There's I think you're allowed to do that now. There was sometimes like I felt there was a rule where you weren't allowed to bring your own food in,
yeah,
and now I feel you are legally allowed to do that. I think the only thing you're not meant to do is like bring hot food in. There's
yeah,
a rule.
yeah,
So like, you know, if you got those cargo pants, swing by Mackie D's, get a few like double cheeseburgers and get them in there. Time it so they're still hot. There's nothing better than smuggled hot food in the cinema like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So, you
I've
know,
smelt
you
that
feel
a
like
few times
you've
in there.
really won.
I saw someone walking with a pizza before as well. I don't know how they got
Oh,
like it was a pizza,
that
like pizza.
really?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how they managed that, but yeah, they came in with that, and it like you could smell it around the whole cinema, and it was just
Yeah.
it was a nice smell. I love pizza, but it's you know,
Maybe that's why they ban it, because like for people who don't like other people's, you know, food
yeah,
smells, then maybe it's a bit annoying.
yeah. Well, Rob, man, I'm gonna let you go because I think I've had you a bit over the time that I would normally have anyone actually.
Oh, good mate.
But it's all good. But thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Good luck with everything. I'm going to be watching. I was going to try and be at Slam Dunk, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it there. But I'll catch you guys on tour, I'm sure. And I'm really looking forward to hearing the album as well. So
Awesome. Thanks, man.
all right. Well, let's say you have a good rest of your evening, and yeah, yeah, be well. I guess it's
Yes, you too, mate. Yeah, take care, and hope the rest of your isolation's all right.
yeah. Thank
And
you.
yeah, looking forward to yeah, catching up. Hopefully see you at a show.
Cool. Thank you, mate. Have a good one.
Take care, dude. See you then, mate.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.